Before you lay a single brick, as an old-time investor or a new convert in the real estate investment industry, would you rather build in the village first or build in the city first? As a smart investor, whether you choose to build in the village first or the city first, the truth remains that the both choices can either make us or mar us as investors. Yes, whether you are a first-time investor or a regular investor in real estate, it can either make or mar your investment dreams. Yes, because the both of them, they have their perks and they also have their pitfalls. I'm talking about their advantages and disadvantages. Now, lots of people, they build in their various villages first because it is their roots. It is where they are coming from. So they believe that starting first from your root, we sprang up better opportunities for further investments. All right? Why to some other people, the reverse is the case. It was 2 years ago when I was traveling home for my father's burial. One of the women that was in the car with us was like, Bikon, what is this? Kedi Odero no mother pata. Lepasanime village. Let me say it. It means, please, what is this? How can somebody come to the village and build such a magnificent building? The duplex was top notch. As in, the house was killing. And my friend saw it and she was like, oh my God. To her, it's a waste of resources. But to that individual that constructed such a marvelous house or marvelous abode in our village, in Nkanu East local government area, to him, that is his roots. And that is where he came from. So he wants to give his very best. Igbo people believe that Akureono or Huebo Sibia, meaning once your wealth gets home, come on, you have arrived. So no matter what you have in any part of the world, if you like, become a Duna Malay, Agongwa, na Lagos, Chinazobodo, na Pitakwa. My brother, if you do all of that in China, in any part of the world where you belong to as an Igbo person, and you are yet to give your community or your roots that vibrant touch, my brother, your money never touch ground. This is their belief. We believe that that place is our roots. Okay? Now, to some other people, it's not possible. They must start this development or this life-changing or life-destroying decision in their roots. And some other people, it must be in the city because of the high return on investment. Okay? Because of basic infrastructures like electricity, pipe-borne water, good access road, and all of that. So these are the reasons why some people choose to build in their villages first. And those are also the reasons why some people choose to build in the city first. All of that, none of them is wrong. But you need to think critically before you take that decision. So that is why we are here today, to debate on this very topic, because it's a critical question. Remember, I said it can either make or mar your investment dreams for life. Lots of people started a project in the village. To be candid, some of you can relate to what I'm saying. They didn't live to live in that house. Some of them started, their businesses crumbled. Some of them started, lots of things happened. Likewise in the city. So whichever decisions you may take, or you have taken, or you would like to take, you need to put on your thinking cap, okay? And make sure you're making or you're taking the best of decisions. So one of the major reasons why most people choose to build in the city first before the other way is number one, the closeness to basic life infrastructures. Okay, you talk about good drinking water, access to good water. Okay, other basic infrastructures like electricity, good drainage system, the closeness to healthcare, and other basic infrastructures. The next one is high return on investment. yes, our properties are bound to appreciate in value. And that is why in the world of today, real estate investment remains the newest and the latest and ancient oil well. Because when your property appreciates in value, you know what that means? Let's assume you acquired a property at a rate of 5 million naira, and in the next 1 to 2 years, that property is above 10 million or between 10 million and above. You know what that means to you, right? Is a good thing. Not just that, rental value. If you decide to build a commercial property, let's assume you have a house that you rent out to tenants. What happens? On yearly, depending on your agreement with them, you can have some returns yearly, monthly, like people that have apartments, shortlets, hotels. Most of them are cashing out on daily basis. Most of them are cashing out on weekend basis. Most of them are cashing out on monthly, annually, and all of that. So rental value is another reason why most people prefer to build houses in the city so that their children can have the best of education. All right, now what are the disadvantages? One of them includes high cost of land. Yes, in the cities, the prices of land there are far higher than that of the village. Yes, you can buy hectares and hectares of land with the same money you used in buying a plot of land in Abuja and the rest of them, even here in Enugu State, Nigeria. So you see, this is one of the disadvantages. The next one is cost of labor. The laborers, though the qualities may differ, but the laborers in the cities tends to charge higher than the laborers in the village. Also, when you want to build your structures in the village, I think it's just a few payments you have to make, like all of these community levies and taxes. But in the city, you pay and pay and pay and pay, depending on the location. And maybe that's why most times lots of people decide to buy through a genuine real estate company like ours, because a good number of times when you want to develop your property, you don't have to pay all of those charges, because the real estate and companies we partner with already takes care of all of that bills. So you just need to erect a structure and all of that. So another disadvantage of building in the city include fast-paced lifestyle and unhealthy competition. You know what I'm talking about. You saw your neighbor building and historic building, and you know that the best of your ability is a bungalow. You just want to have this unhealthy competition. That's what I call it most times. Yes, fast-paced lifestyle as well as unhealthy competition. To me, they are just a few disadvantages of trying to build in the city. First, or what are the advantages of building in the village first before considering or building in the city, especially in an undeveloped village or upcoming developed village. You understand where I'm coming from? Because places like Anambra State, my mom is from Oka. Okay, my mom is from Oka, but Oka is small London. The cost of land there is also high. So village day. You understand the angle I'm coming from, but the truth remains that acquiring a property is far cheaper in various villages. If your village still looks like my village, it is cheaper to acquire parcels of land in places like that than in our mega cities. The next one is large space. Yes, oftentimes most of the lands in our various communities were, inherited from our forefathers. And in their time, they don't do 500 square meter, 450 square meter. They don't do that. They either use a stone, to get their landmark, or they didn't do surveying in their own time. There was nothing like surveying. Sometimes they would shoot catapult. Wherever the stone lands or whatever lands, that is where they will have this tree that will stand the test of time, like Ogirishi. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So all of that gives us enough space to build whatever thing we want to build in the village, because we inherited most of these properties from our forefathers. Because of that, of course, you're bound to have enough space for whatever structure you want to erect in your village. Another one include number one, upholding of your legacy. That is why we believe that Akureuno Ukuebo Sibia. When you people come to your village, or comes to let's assume your daughter is having a traditional wedding, or there is a burial and all of that. When people come and see the structure in your community, especially in Igbo land, there's this respect they give to whomever that has that thing. Okay, it's also a way of maintaining legacy, like I said earlier. You are upholding your culture, you are upholding your family's name, you are upholding your family's image. The next one is large space. Like I said earlier, the cost of acquiring a property in the city is far, far higher than the cost of acquiring a property in the village, especially peaceful environment. Where there is peace, there is progress. Where there is peace, there is good health. In the community, of course, there is this serenity each time you travel to the village, except your village is no longer villaging like my village. But if your village is villaging like my village, come on. Once you get to my village or Walker in Kano East local government area of Enugu State, there is this atmosphere. There is this breath of fresh air. There is this peace within the vicinity and all of that. All this noisy environment like we have in our cities, either it's coming from your neighbor's generator or it's coming from the forthcoming vehicle, keke na pepe, and all of that. Even some industries around our homes, it can also pollute our environment. But in the village, it's not always like that. The air is supernatural. Everything, the water is so, they are so good. So all of that remains one of the reasons why some people prefer to build in the village instead of build in the village first, before building in the city. What are the disadvantages of building in the village first? Number one, the Owenge reason that scares everyone away is the forces there. Let's all be candid. If you want to build your first house in the village, whether it is your first house or second house, my brother, my sister, you need to be what? Kajadly kajad. I mean, you need to be fortified. Whether you're a Christian or you are a traditionalist or you are a pagan, you need to be kakaraka. You need to be strong. If you're not strong in whatever thing you practice, in whatever religion you believe or practice, my brother, lots of people who went there first, you can relate to what I'm saying. Most of them didn't live to what? To live in that house. Most of them ended up being broke. So this is one of the major disadvantages or one of the major reasons why people run away from building in the village first. Okay, I'm not trying to discourage you, but what I'm trying to say is that please try as much as you can to be fortified. As a traditionalist, as a pagan, or as a Christian, even as a Muslim. Okay, so whatever you want to do in the village, you need to be spiritually strong, and this is one of the scariest reasons why people run away from building their first house, especially in the village. Second is lower development. You can tell what I'm trying to say. If your village is villaging like my village, sorry I'm using that term, but I want you to understand the point I'm trying to make. Okay, if your village is like my village, okay, you know that it takes time for development to hit such places. It's not like you don't have access road to your village. It's not like you don't have light in your village, but a good number of time, most villages are not privileged to steady power supply. Okay, yeah, nowadays people in the village are enjoying all of that. You see electricity, then they get like past people with the township. Let's all be candid. All right, so sometimes access road, they find it difficult. When you're in the village, you find it difficult most times to access the bigger markets. Okay, then the next one is lesser appreciation. Yes, the properties in the cities has more appreciative value. So if you build a structure in the village and maybe let's say you're bankrupt and you want to get a loan from the bank, it's not gonna be that easy. Why? Because most of our properties or most of our structures in the village don't have good documentations like CFO, power of attorney, and registered surveyor. Remember that most of us inherited those lands from our forefathers. Then they didn't use the surveyors. Yes, they didn't use all of that. Some of them it was just the foot they used to take the measurement. The analog method of measurement. That was what was used in acquiring all of that property, and that poses as a challenge. Okay, so the value of your property in the village, my brother, if you are financially down, it's not easy for you to sell it because remember, you built that structure in your roots. That is, sorry, I'm using Igbo language, but I want you guys to feel me. Okay, yes, it was built. That place they buried your ancestors. It's not easy for you to sell it out. It's not true. It's not possible. The traditionalists, look out for any traditionalists. They are in a better position to give you the major reasons on why it is not. You cannot sell, that house you build in the village, especially in your compound, the house you built in that place where your ancestors was buried. But in the city, you can, as long as your document is properly organized and up to date, okay, automatically you can get a loan with it. You can even from the bank or from an individual. Okay, it's easy for you to sell it out and use it to start afresh. You see, are you feeling what I'm feeling? So, but in the village, it is not like that. Lots of people find it very difficult to buy such properties, and some people also find it very difficult to sell such properties because it is their roots. It's not possible to sell it out. If you sell it out, as a traditionalist is in a better position to tell you all of that, not me. All right. So another reason is one is fewer basic amenities. Lots of them. If you live in Lagos, for instance, and you decide to build in the village, you can't. It's not easy for you to access your workplace or your business arena from the village. It's not easy. So most times, the houses we have in the villages are usually far from basic amenities like good schools, all these British schools, all of that fine, big schools, all of that beautiful job opportunities. You can't access all of those locations from most villages. Please, I'm talking about the villages that are villaging like my village. Okay, all right. So all of that poses as a challenge as well when you want to consider this. You need to put it into consideration. The next one is lower appreciative value because of lack of basic amenities. Because you built that house in your roots, your father's house, and you're trying to uphold a legacy. Of course, the value of that property will never be what? High. The value, let's assume a bank wants to come verify that property, before giving you that loan. Of course, the value won't be that appreciated. Yes, because of its location, which is your village, that is villaging like my village. All right. Said all of that, I want to advise us professionally as a real estate consultant that is super good at what she does. I wouldn't want some people to come and say I didn't say what I say well, but I need to say what I think as a real estate consultant. Now, I want to give you a candid advice because of the way our economy is going. Okay, because of the economic situation of our country, Nigeria, I want to tell us for free that if you're going for long-term investment, building in the city should come first. I've taken time to tell you the advantages and the disadvantages to the best of my ability, okay, of the both, whether you're building in the city first or building in the village first. But I will encourage you personally as an investor's party. I'm always here to help. I didn't say you shouldn't build in your village, please get me right. But for me, depending on your ability, yes, because I can't come and tell you Big Kuban where to build. He can decide to build in the city and in the village at the same time. Get the point I'm trying to make. But professionally, I think I encourage you to build in the city first. Yes. Why? Because number one, of its appreciative value. We discussed that, right? The appreciative value. Yes, when you build in the city, let's assume you build a rental apartment or a short-let apartment or a hotel, or your residential home, whatever. It's saving you the cost. For you to build a house, especially a mega house in the city, it means your finance is something else. Okay. Now, when you build in the city first, if you're bankrupt, you can use that structure to get a loan, and revive your business. You move, and from there you maximize more money and profits to now build another one in the village. So for long-term reason, building in the city is far more. Now the next one is the closeness to basic amenities of life. Your health is wealth. Don't forget that, right? Okay, your access to basic amenities like good schools, good road, access to your place of work, and the rest of them. The next one is Okay, I've talked about the high appreciative value. Okay, all right. Another thing is when your house is mounted in the city, you can access loans. I keep saying that once your property is well documented, you have access to good loans, either from a friend or from any microfinance bank or commercial bank. You can use it to access loan. From there, you can revive. From there, you can travel out and make more money. From there, you can erect another structure in the village. From there, your business will grow massively. From there, and all of that. So for me, I think building in the city should come first than building in the village. Especially when your village is villaging like my village. You should build in the city first. Yes, from there, God being so kind and faithful to us and you, okay, you can now erect another structure to service your roots and uphold your family's legacy. I pray that God will keep us. I know most people will say, yeah, a friend said, when my dad died, we don't have any house in the village. Shame catch me, eh? I just pray that God will keep us alive so that we can live to build in the city as well as build in the village. So please, to the best of my ability and to the best of my knowledge, building in the city comes first. Yes, because that one can yield more money for you. If it's on rental, you can always rent it out, make money. You can even strategize it. Any money that people pays you, you can use to start developing in the village. And secondly, the scariest reasons why we all run away from building in the village most of the time. Spiritually, you need to fortify yourself. Even in the city, it's not easy to build in the city. It's not easy. But that of the village is not either. So I think building in the city should come first. Why? Because of its long-term benefits. Long-term benefits. It can yield more money than you can use to even build another paradise in your village. But when you build a house in the village, oftentimes most of us are in the cities. Grandpa and grandma, I mean our fathers, our mothers, will just be in one room. Trust them now. They don't have all of that anointing to come and be sleeping. No, they don't. Even grandma self will prefer that her old house where she started her love life with her father, with your father, or that kind of thing. They don't like all of that luxury. It's not like they don't like better thing, get me? But most times they don't like. Or to them, all of those things are vanities upon vanities. They don't. It's not their core thing. Okay, you see, have you ever seen a grandma? You're giving her a beautiful kitchen in the village, and she tells you, "Who does that?" Even me. Most times, I also want to be like this village girl. Okay, most times I prefer to cook with firewood in my house. I have a corner for my firewood services. I cook with firewood big time, especially when I want to cook all those long processed food items and stock them up in the fridge. Okay, or I want to roast groundnut for my children. They love groundnut. So when I want to roast that, you want me to roast it on the gas cooker. That one will just take away the lovely taste of that groundnut. Doing it on the firewood brings out the real thing. So oftentimes all of those luxuries, grandma and grandpa no send. But my major prayer is that God will keep us all alive and give us the major resources that we need to own houses in the city as well as in the village, so that we can retain our roots and our legacy. Okay, if this looks very insightful to you and you've gotten to this point, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. All right, click on the notification bell. Please like, comment, and share. It's not an abomination. You can tell me to improve. I'm just new in the ministry. I mean, on social media. So you can tell me to improve. You can tell me you did well. You can give me my flowers. You can tell me I'm convinced, I'm not confused. You can tell me I'm confused, I'm not convinced. Whatever thing, just comment. Come on, like, okay? All right. I love you all. Let's look forward to a better topic to discuss as well. I'm ready to hear it. Okay? But before you go, kindly tell me, would you still prefer to build in the city first or in the village? Whichever one you think is better for you, you can as well air your reasons so that we can learn. All of us, I can learn, and our viewers out there can also learn. Together, we all grow.